Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Hub, where we cut through speculation and bring you only the most critical updates shaping Iraq's financial evolution. Today, we are examining a development that many analysts are calling unprecedented in the history of the dinar discussion. An event that marks a shift from rumor-driven chatter to tangible, verifiable action. The revelation of a confirmed contract rate framework by the Central Bank of Iraq represents a major turning point in how the nation manages and projects the value of its currency. Reports from within Baghdad indicate that the system is not theoretical, not speculative, but already in active use. For those following Iraq's economic trajectory, this update signals a structural movement from planning to implementation. We will be unpacking every dimension of this shift to understand just how consequential this new phase truly is. To understand the significance of the announcement, we must first examine what exactly the central bank has reportedly activated. According to the latest information, Iraq has initiated a contract exchange rate system that creates a dual-rate environment within its financial structure. The public market rate remains visible for daily retail activity. But this new contract rate is being applied to major government commitments, oil agreements, and high-value international projects. This distinction matters greatly, as it shows the authorities are separating the domestic consumer rate from the sovereign valuation used in official operations. By implementing a specialized rate for key contracts, Iraq is establishing a controlled pathway to test the dinar's higher potential value without triggering immediate disruptions in the broader economy. It effectively functions as a live pilot phase, allowing monetary authorities to evaluate the currency's strength in critical sectors before transitioning to a full-scale adjustment. What separates this development from previous cycles of anticipation is the practical, operational nature of the new framework. This is not a policy draft collecting dust or a leaked proposal floating around political circles. It is a mechanism already functioning in live financial environments. The introduction of the contract rate signals that Iraq is moving steadily toward a more comprehensive revaluation strategy. By employing this rate in official settlements, the central bank is conducting a structured rehearsal for a future shift in the public exchange rate. This allows government ministries and financial institutions to adapt internally to a stronger dinar while maintaining stability on the consumer level. Through this measured approach, Iraq is preparing its accounting systems, auditing procedures, and financial ledgers for a recalibrated value long before the public sees any change. So what does this contract rate truly represent in terms of valuation? At its core, it is a predetermined exchange value applied exclusively to high-level transactions involving the government and its international partners. The rate is not accessible to everyday citizens, but its existence sends a clear signal. Iraq has identified a future valuation target and is already conducting business at that level within controlled environments. This functions as an early preview of the intended public rate, demonstrating confidence in the country's economic outlook and in the currency's long-term strength. By using this rate for major agreements, Iraq is essentially wagering on the success of its reforms and the eventual appreciation of the dinar. A clear example of how this system is being applied can be seen in the handling of Iraq's most valuable export oil. When settling oil-related revenue, infrastructure deals, or long-term supply contracts, the contract rate allows the value of the transactions to be calculated in dinars rather than defaulting entirely to dollars. This represents a significant milestone in the nation's push toward economic independence and reduced dollar reliance. By elevating the role of the dinar in large-scale negotiations, Iraq is testing its strength in real-world economic conditions. This slow integration of the dinar into global trade channels forces international partners to treat the currency as a legitimate medium of exchange, which is vital for any nation seeking a return to international currency markets. Multiple major agreements have already been associated with the contract rate, particularly those tied to energy infrastructure and critical reconstruction projects. It shows that the government can manage a stronger currency in environments that demand accuracy, liquidity, and stability. This controlled rollout strengthens the case that Iraq is pursuing a phased, carefully orchestrated transition toward a publicly adjusted exchange rate. The implementation of this dual-rate system suggests that Iraq will likely pursue a gradual appreciation strategy rather than a sudden overnight shift. Such a method allows the central bank to monitor inflation, market liquidity, and overall economic response before opening the revalued rate to the public. This process mirrors global best practices for currency reform, where stability and long-term sustainability are prioritized over dramatic short-term outcomes. By stress testing the new valuation through high-level contracts, Iraq ensures that when the public rate change finally occurs, it will be supported by stable, proven systems. Global financial institutions have been reviewing and processing these contract-based transactions to ensure alignment with worldwide payment and compliance standards. Their involvement confirms that the revaluation process is not occurring in a vacuum. Instead, Iraq is synchronizing its upgrades with the global banking system. This coordination is essential because a currency revaluation holds no weight if major financial networks cannot recognize or process the updated value. The fact that these institutions are actively monitoring contract rate transactions suggests that the technical and regulatory integration is already underway. Reports indicate that major U.S. banks, including Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo, have begun updating internal systems to verify and process contract rate data. While this does not imply that local branches are ready for public exchanges, it does indicate that the back-end infrastructure, the digital backbone of the financial world, is being recalibrated. These banks do not invest in large-scale software updates without reason. Their involvement adds a layer of external validation to the developments emerging from Baghdad and confirms that these changes are being acknowledged across global financial channels. On its own, the introduction of a low-value note may seem insignificant. However, in the context of revaluation, it becomes extremely meaningful. Smaller denominations are essential when a currency is expected to increase in value. Without them, everyday transactions would become impractical after a rate adjustment. The release of these notes signals that the central bank is preparing the physical money supply for the realities of a higher-value dinar. This rollout serves as the physical counterpart to the digital contract rate implementation, ensuring that the public economy will function smoothly once the exchange rate is officially adjusted. Understanding the role of the contract rate is crucial for setting realistic expectations. Even though the system is active, it does not mean that the public can exchange currency at that rate yet. Instead, it acts as a roadmap of where the dinar is headed and as a tool for strengthening internal financial systems. Much like a software developer conducting a closed beta test, Iraq is ensuring that every mechanism required for a successful public transition is functioning as intended. This stage of refinement is one of the strongest indicators that the long wait may be nearing its end. In the background, major banking networks have been reacting quietly but purposefully. Compliance departments within global financial institutions are preparing for a scenario in which the dinar undergoes a structural shift. These banks do not spend significant resources updating systems for hypothetical events. Their actions suggest that they anticipate a real need to process new valuations in the foreseeable future. This alignment between Iraq's internal reforms and global financial infrastructure is essential. Beyond exchange rates, central banks' collaboration with international institutions also includes sweeping reforms in compliance, digital tracking, and anti-money laundering protocols. These upgrades are essential for establishing global confidence in Iraq's financial system. A revaluation can only occur when a nation meets strict international banking standards, and Iraq appears to be building a strong foundation in this regard. This transformation is helping reposition the country as a transparent and modern financial participant capable of supporting a higher value currency on the global stage.